There is a rhythm to reality. Not random, not chaotic, but deeply intelligent. Beneath the noise, beneath the endless distractions, there is a pulse that responds to alignment like an echo. When you act in resonance with that rhythm, reality itself bends, shifts, and answers. And the truth is this: there is a practice, deceptively simple yet profoundly transformative, that forces the universe to respond. Not in theory, not in wishful imagination, but in undeniable experience. The practice is not hidden in temples or buried in ancient texts. It has been in plain sight all along, yet overlooked precisely because of its simplicity. We have been conditioned to believe that power must be complicated, that transformation requires complexity, that access to the divine demands rituals, codes, or intermediaries. But the universe is not playing games with you. It does not withhold itself behind riddles. It communicates directly, if you are willing to listen, and it responds instantly, if you are willing to align. The practice is not about asking harder. It is not about begging or bargaining. It is not about forcing reality to bend to your will. It is about understanding the mechanics of resonance. Because when you activate resonance, reality cannot help but answer. The universe does not decide whether to respond. It is designed to respond. Imagine striking a tuning fork. Another tuning fork across the room, tuned to the same frequency, will begin to vibrate on its own. No one touched it. No one commanded it. It simply responded because resonance demands it. Reality functions the same way. When your signal is clear, the universe cannot ignore it. It must answer. The problem is not that the universe is silent. The problem is that your signal has been scrambled by noise, fear, and contradiction. You say one thing and believe another. You desire one thing and act against it. You imagine possibility but cling to doubt. This incoherence fractures your resonance. And fractured resonance cannot compel response. But when you realign into coherence, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are no longer in conflict, something extraordinary happens. The universe echoes you. It mirrors you. It amplifies you. And the simple practice I am about to reveal is the switch. Before the practice can be understood, you must grasp the mechanics behind it. Because without understanding, you risk mistaking this for superstition, ritual, or manipulation. It is none of those things. It is the natural law of resonance. Every thought you have carries a frequency. Every emotion transmits a vibration. Every action emits a signal. Most people are unaware of this constant transmission. They assume their private doubts, fears, and contradictions vanish inside them. But nothing vanishes. Every signal radiates into the field. The field records everything. Not as punishment, but as resonance. It does not care about your words alone. It measures coherence. You can say you want abundance, but if you vibrate scarcity, the universe responds to scarcity. You can say you want love, but if you transmit fear of intimacy, the universe responds to that fear. You can declare freedom, but if your actions scream conformity, the universe echoes conformity. This is why people grow frustrated. They believe their affirmations should manifest, but affirmations without coherence are empty noise. The field does not respond to words, it responds to frequency. Now imagine for a moment aligning all three layers: thought, feeling, and action. Imagine directing them all toward one resonance, without contradiction, without dilution. Imagine striking one pure note in the symphony of reality. That is when the field bends. That is when the universe responds instantly. That is when reality reshapes itself before your eyes. And the practice is the discipline of coherence. Here is the practice, stripped of all mystique. Speak one clear intention, embody the emotional state of its fulfillment, and take one aligned action immediately. Then repeat. That is all. That is the practice. It sounds almost too simple, but simplicity is its genius, because each step corrects the fracture of incoherence. 1. The clear intention removes contradiction in thought. 2. The embodied emotion eliminates contradiction in feeling. 3. The aligned action resolves contradiction in behavior. When you do all three in unison, resonance becomes undeniable. And resonance forces the universe to respond. Let us examine each piece carefully. Step 1. The clear intention. Most intentions fail because they are clouded, vague, or divided. I want success, but not too much pressure. I want love, but not vulnerability. I want abundance, but I don't want to risk failure. These are not intentions. They are compromises. And compromise emits fractured resonance. A clear intention is precise, uncluttered, and unapologetic. It does not beg. It does not bargain. It names what you are calling in without dilution. I choose to live in financial freedom. I choose to embody love fully. I choose to expand into limitless creativity. Notice, no bargaining, no conditions. No, but only clarity. This is the first strike of the tuning fork. The moment you speak it, the signal begins to radiate. Step 2. The embodied emotion. But intention alone is not enough. Words are signals, but weak ones. The field responds most powerfully to emotion. Why? Because emotion is the fuel of resonance. Thought alone is like a spark. Emotion turns it into fire. Most people sabotage themselves here. They declare intentions but then remain emotionally anchored in doubt, fear, or lack. They ask for abundance while radiating scarcity. They ask for love while radiating unworthiness. The universe does not hear their words, it hears their frequency. To shift this, you must embody the emotional state of fulfillment now, before it arrives. If you intend abundance, embody the vibration of gratitude and security as though it is already present. If you intend love, embody the warmth, openness, and joy of connection now. If you intend freedom, embody the lightness and expansiveness now. This is not pretending. It is aligning. You are not lying to yourself. You are activating resonance. Because when the field feels coherence between intention and emotion, it echoes instantly. Step 3. The aligned action. Even clear intention and embodied emotion are incomplete without action. Because action anchors resonance into the physical plane. Think of it this way. Intention is the note, emotion is the vibration, and action is the amplifier. Without action, the resonance remains faint, incomplete. Aligned action does not mean giant leaps. It can be small, but it must be immediate. One step, taken now, in the direction of your intention. If your intention is health, drink water instead of numbing with distraction. If your intention is abundance, make one decision today from security, not fear. If your intention is love, express genuine openness in one conversation. The action itself is not the magic. It is the coherence between thought, feeling, and action that unleashes resonance. And when coherence is complete, reality cannot help but respond. You may wonder, why must the universe respond? Could it not ignore you, dismiss you, or refuse you? No, that is not how resonance works. The field is not a conscious gatekeeper deciding whether you are worthy. It is a mirror, an amplifier. It does not judge, it reflects. When you strike a tuning fork, the second fork does not decide whether to vibrate. It simply does. When you emit coherence, the field cannot withhold response. It echoes by design. This is the difference between superstition and science. Superstition imagines a universe that plays favorites. Science reveals a universe that operates on law. And the law of resonance is unbreakable. When you align intention, emotion, and action into coherence, the universe has no choice but to respond. The first time you try this practice, the universe may respond subtly. A synchronicity, a sudden insight, a small opportunity. Many dismiss these as coincidence. But those who recognize them as echoes understand. The signal is working. The practice is not about a single moment. It is about repetition. Every time you align intention, emotion, and action, you strike the tuning fork again. The resonance grows louder, stronger, impossible to ignore. Reality begins reorganizing around your signal. People, opportunities, and resources shift. What once seemed chance reveals itself as design. And the more you practice, the more undeniable the response becomes. Of course, noise will attempt to interfere. Doubt will whisper. Fear will tempt. Old patterns will try to fracture your resonance. The noise will tell you the practice is too simple to matter. It will convince you that nothing is happening. It will pressure you to return to contradiction, to scatter your signal once again. But remember this, noise has no power except the power you give it. The universe does not respond to noise. It responds to resonance. Your task is not to eliminate noise forever. It is to choose coherence anyway. Again and again. Until coherence becomes your natural state. Why is this practice not widely known if it is so powerful? Why do schools not teach it? Why do most people live their entire lives unaware of resonance? Because noise serves a purpose. The world benefits from you staying incoherent. Systems profit when you are fractured, distracted, and dependent. Entire industries rely on you believing that power lies outside of you, hidden behind complexity, rituals, or authority figures. If you discovered that the universe responds directly to your coherence, you would no longer be controllable. You would no longer chase validation, permission, or salvation. You would become sovereign. And sovereignty threatens every structure built on control. This is why the practice seems too simple. Because the most liberating truths are always disguised in simplicity. Complexity keeps you searching. Simplicity sets you free. Now, the question becomes, what is the first clear intention you are willing to declare? Not tomorrow, not later, now. Do not overthink. Choose one. Speak it. Feel it. Act on it. Witness the response. The universe is not waiting to be convinced. It is waiting to be activated. And the moment you strike the note, the echo begins. The simplicity of the practice hides its depth. On the surface, it appears as though you are merely setting an intention, feeling it, and taking a step. But beneath that surface lies something far more profound. You are tuning yourself into the hidden mechanics of reality. Reality is not solid in the way we've been taught. It appears fixed, but it is fluid. It appears rigid, but it is responsive. Like water, it takes the shape of the container that holds it. And you are that container. Your resonance, your coherence, your signal, these are what reality shapes itself around. This is why one small shift in resonance can ripple out into events, circumstances, and people showing up in ways you never could have engineered consciously. It is not coincidence. It is design. The practice forces the universe to respond because it bypasses doubt and cuts through noise. Instead of scattering your signal across 100 conflicting channels, it concentrates your broadcast into one clear frequency. And a concentrated frequency is irresistible. Imagine a radio tower. It emits a signal that travels invisibly through the air. Most people walk around unaware of it, but when you tune your receiver to the right frequency, the signal becomes sound, music, voice. The broadcast was always there, but you needed coherence between transmitter and receiver to perceive it. Your consciousness is the transmitter. The universe is the field. The practice aligns your transmission so purely that the field not only receives it, it echoes it back into form. The response might come as synchronicity, a chance meeting, a sudden call, a piece of information falling into your lap. It might come as a shift inside you, courage where fear once lived, clarity where confusion once dominated. It might come as tangible manifestation, opportunities, resources, breakthroughs. But make no mistake, it comes. And the more you practice, the faster and more undeniable the responses become. One of the most misunderstood aspects of this practice is the role of action. People assume action is about forcing, pushing, grinding. That is the way we've been conditioned. Effort equals result. But in the mechanics of resonance, action serves a different purpose. Action is not about proving your worth. Action is the anchor. When you take immediate action, no matter how small, you lock the resonance into the physical realm. You take the invisible frequency and carve its imprint into matter. Think of it like striking a match. The spark is intention. The oxygen that fuels it is emotion. But without contact, without striking the match against a surface, the fire never ignites. Action is that contact point. And once the flame ignites, it begins to spread. One step becomes momentum. Momentum becomes movement. Movement becomes transformation. This is why hesitation weakens resonance. The longer you wait, the more doubt creeps in. The more you hesitate, the more noise fractures your signal. Immediate action interrupts hesitation and preserves coherence. You may be wondering, how do I bring this into my actual day-to-day life? How do I transform this from an inspiring idea into a lived reality? It begins with awareness. Every day is filled with choices. Most are unconscious, reactive, automatic. But when you insert this practice into your day, you shift from reaction to resonance. 1. Pause and declare. Before acting out of habit, pause. Speak a clear intention about what you choose now. It can be as simple as, I choose clarity in this meeting, or I choose calm in this moment. 2. Feel first. Before moving, embody the emotion that matches the intention. If you choose clarity, breathe into the calm focus that clarity brings. If you choose abundance, feel the gratitude of already having it. 3. Act immediately. Take one step that aligns with the intention. If it's clarity in a meeting, ask the precise question. If it's abundance, decline the decision rooted in fear. If it's calm, take the breath before replying. You do not need to move mountains in one day. The practice is not about grand gestures. It is about coherence in the micro moments of life. Because coherence compounds. Every small resonance strengthens the signal, and every strengthened signal draws the universe into sharper response. As you continue this practice, you will notice the universe responds on 3 levels. 1. Internal response. The first and most immediate change happens within you. Suddenly you feel aligned. Doubt recedes. Clarity rises. You no longer feel fractured between thought, feeling, and action. This alone is transformative. You experience peace, focus, power. 2. Energetic response. The second change is subtler but undeniable. The field around you begins shifting. People sense it. They respond differently, often without knowing why. You attract conversations, opportunities, and synchronicities that reflect your resonance. 3. Physical response. Finally, the physical world begins to rearrange. This is the most obvious and dramatic level. Circumstances align. Doors open. Resources appear. Events unfold in ways that defy logic. The key is not to chase the external response, but to trust the sequence. Internal coherence activates the energetic shift. The energetic shift catalyzes physical transformation. And the more you practice, the faster these levels collapse into near-simultaneous manifestation. It's easy to dismiss this practice because of its simplicity. We assume power must be complicated, that mastery requires intricate steps. But complexity is often the greatest barrier. Complexity fractures energy. Complexity distracts. Simplicity, on the other hand, concentrates energy. When you distill practice into its essence, intention, emotion, action, you create laser-like focus. Think of sunlight. Scattered, it warms your skin. Concentrated through a lens, it ignites fire. That is the difference between scattered effort and coherent resonance. The universe does not respond to scattered warmth. It responds to concentrated fire. As with any practice, there are traps along the way. Let us expose them now, so you can navigate with clarity. 1. Half-hearted intention. Declaring an intention you don't believe fractures coherence. Remedy: choose intentions you are ready to embody now, even in small ways. Build trust with yourself. 2. Emotional disconnection. Going through the motions without feeling sabotages resonance. Remedy: take time to truly feel. Slow down. Let the emotion rise before acting. 3. Delayed action. Waiting too long between intention and action drains power. Remedy: commit to immediate steps, no matter how small. Action is the bridge. For obsessing over results. Watching constantly for proof introduces desperation. Desperation fractures resonance. Remedy: trust the law. The field responds whether you monitor it or not. When you recognize these traps, you can avoid them without judgment. Simply return to coherence. Think of this as a spiritual technology. Just as electricity flows when circuits align, universal energy flows when coherence aligns. This is not mysticism alone, it is law. Technology does not ask for faith, it asks for application. When you flip a switch, the light comes on, not because you prayed hard enough, but because you completed the circuit. This practice works the same way. Intention, emotion, and action complete the circuit of resonance. And once the circuit is complete, the current of universal response flows automatically. This realization liberates you from superstition. You no longer wonder whether the universe is listening. You know it must respond because the circuit is complete. The more you apply this practice, the more you realize it does not only affect your personal desires. It ripples outward. When you align into coherence, everyone around you feels it. Your clarity inspires others. Your courage shifts dynamics. Your resonance elevates environments. This is not manipulation. It is magnetism. You are not forcing others to change. You are transmitting coherence so strongly that it awakens coherence in them. The practice is not just personal. It is collective. Every individual who aligns strengthens the resonance of the whole. And this is how cultures shift, how systems collapse, how new realities emerge. Not through force, but through resonance. Let's make this tangible. Imagine you want to create a new opportunity in your career. Here is how you would use the practice. Intention: I choose to step into work that aligns with my highest creativity and value. Emotion: close your eyes. Feel the excitement of waking up inspired each day. Feel the security of being supported by your talents. Feel the joy of contribution. Let the emotion fill you until your body vibrates with it. Action: immediately, take one aligned step. Update your portfolio. Reach out to a contact. Research opportunities. Speak your truth in a conversation. You do not wait for the opportunity to appear before you feel it. You embody it now. You do not hesitate until you have a plan. You act immediately, even if the step feels small. What happens? Perhaps someone calls with an offer. Perhaps a chance encounter reveals a path. Perhaps a door opens where none existed before. This is not magic, it is response. At first, this practice feels deliberate. You pause, you remember, you align. But as you repeat it, something profound happens. It becomes natural. You no longer need to do the practice, you become the practice. Intention, emotion, and action align automatically. Coherence becomes your default state. This is the threshold of mastery. At this point, the universe does not merely respond occasionally. It responds constantly. Life itself becomes a dialogue between you and the field, every moment an exchange of resonance. Now, the question is not whether this practice works. It does. The question is, will you apply it consistently enough to witness its full power? The universe is not withholding. It is not waiting for permission. It is waiting for coherence. And coherence is always your choice. So I leave you with this challenge. Today, choose one intention. Embody the emotion. Take one action. Watch the response. Then repeat tomorrow. And the next day. Do this long enough, and you will realize the truth. The universe was never ignoring you. It was waiting for your signal to become clear. There is a mystery hidden in plain sight. One that every ancient mystic hinted at, but modern life often drowns out in its noise. It is the truth that when you practice the simple shift of aligning your inner state with your desired reality, you are not hoping for life to answer. You are compelling it to. Not through force, not through struggle, not through desperate grasping, but through alignment so precise that the universe cannot help but move in response. This is not philosophy, it is physics of consciousness. Every thought, every emotion, every inner vibration is not just happening inside your mind. It is radiating outward, weaving threads into the infinite fabric of reality. Like ripples spreading from a single stone cast into a still pond, your state of being is broadcasting continuously, imprinting itself into the unseen layers of existence. And here is where the shift becomes undeniable. When you stop scattering your energy across contradiction and choose coherence, when your inner world becomes a unified broadcast, reality rearranges itself around that frequency. Most people live in contradiction. They say they want peace, yet they rehearse chaos in their minds. They say they long for love, yet they nurture resentment, suspicion, and self-doubt. They say they want abundance, yet their inner dialogue sings the tune of scarcity day after day. This contradiction splits their signal. Imagine trying to tune a radio station but constantly spinning the dial between two frequencies. You never hear the clarity of one song, only static. That static is what most people experience in life. A mix of partial manifestations, confusing delays, and seeming randomness. But the universe is never random. It is precise beyond comprehension. When your inner broadcast becomes clear, steady, unwavering, the response is inevitable. The invisible hand of alignment takes hold. Paths open. Encounters occur. Synchronicities multiply. Life begins to feel orchestrated rather than chaotic. And yet, this orchestration is not imposed upon you from outside. It is summoned from within. The simple practice you have been learning is this: to anchor yourself in the felt reality of what you choose, again and again, until it becomes your default broadcast. To not merely wish, but to dwell in the inner resonance of the wish fulfilled. Why does this matter? Because the universe does not respond to words alone. It responds to resonance. Think of a tuning fork. Strike one, and another tuning fork of the same pitch will vibrate in response, even from across the room. No physical contact is needed. The resonance itself carries the influence. In the same way, when you generate the resonance of love, peace, abundance, healing, joy, or whatever reality you choose, the larger fabric of existence vibrates with it. Invisible connections begin to hum in response, drawing into your orbit the forms, people, and events that match your inner tone. This is not magic in the sense of fantasy, it is the deeper lawfulness of reality. That which is coherent within you becomes coherent around you. Here lies one of the greatest traps, the urge to try harder. Many people, upon hearing these truths, think they must strain to visualize more vividly, to repeat affirmations more loudly, to exert more effort in order to make reality bend. But trying is itself a contradictory signal. Trying says, I do not yet have. I must struggle to earn. And the universe answers that frequency perfectly, echoing back situations where fulfillment is always just beyond reach. The practice, then, is not to try, it is to become. Become the one who already embodies what you desire. Walk with the inner posture of the fulfilled. Think from the destination, not toward it. Carry the fragrance of the reality you choose as though it were already draped over your life. This subtle but profound shift alters everything. Because when you stop broadcasting lack and start broadcasting fulfillment, you collapse the distance between here and there. The invisible hand of alignment moves instantly because there is no longer contradiction to delay it. You will know this practice is working not because you sit waiting for fireworks, but because subtle signs begin to surface around you. A chance encounter that opens a new path. A message that arrives at the perfect moment. A sudden shift in your own clarity that dissolves what once felt immovable. Pay attention to these responses. They are the first whispers of the universe signaling, I have heard you. I am rearranging everything. And if doubt tries to creep in, remember, it is not your task to control how the response arrives. The how belongs to the infinite intelligence that designs galaxies and orchestrates every breath you take. Your task is simply to maintain the signal, to remain in resonance with what you have chosen. The universe will always handle the orchestration better than your limited planning could. Many ask, why does it take so long? Why can't my desire appear instantly? The answer lies in your broadcast. If your signal is split, the universe mirrors the split. If your vibration fluctuates, the manifestation fluctuates. The delay is not punishment. It is simply feedback, showing you where you are still broadcasting contradiction. Every moment you return to alignment shortens the distance. Every moment you embody the fulfilled state draws reality closer to coherence. The delay shrinks not because the universe finally decides to bless you, but because you have ceased sending mixed instructions. When the signal clears, the response is rapid, undeniable, sometimes overwhelming in its precision. It feels miraculous, but in truth it is simply the law of resonance operating without interference. Here is the most humbling truth. The universe is not withholding from you. It is mirroring you always. If you encounter limitation, it is not the universe blocking you. It is the echo of your own broadcast returning. If you experience expansion, it is not a random gift. It is the reflection of your inner expansion made visible. This understanding is not meant to burden you with blame, but to empower you with awareness. Because the moment you grasp that your life is not happening to you, but responding to you, the game changes. You stop waiting. You stop pleading. You stop negotiating with circumstances. Instead, you step into authorship. You adjust the broadcast. You refine your alignment. You summon the reality you choose, not by force, but by resonance. And the universe, faithful as always, responds. Notice the simplicity of this practice. It does not require years of study, elaborate rituals, or external validation. It requires one thing only, the decision to embody your chosen reality within yourself, consistently enough that it becomes your natural state. This is why ancient sages spoke so often in parables. why they used simple instructions that confounded the intellect. Because the intellect wants complexity, it wants steps, formulas, guarantees. But reality bends to coherence, not complexity. The most powerful practice is often the simplest one, because it bypasses complication and goes straight to the essence, your broadcast. To truly integrate this, imagine walking through your daily life as though every step leaves an imprint of your inner broadcast on the fabric of reality. Because it does. Every thought leaves a trace. Every feeling carries a vibration. Every action ripples into the field. When you walk in frustration, the world bends to mirror frustration. When you walk in gratitude, the world bends to mirror gratitude. When you walk in the fulfilled state of your desire, the world bends to mirror fulfillment. This is the invisible hand of alignment, the unseen force that arranges encounters, reshapes circumstances, and opens doors where none seemed to exist. There comes a moment in this practice when you reach what could be called the point of no return. A threshold where your alignment becomes so steady that the old frequencies no longer hold power. You feel it when doubt arises but no longer grips you. You feel it when challenges appear but cannot pull you back into contradiction. At this point, manifestation is no longer a question of if, but when, and when is rapidly collapsing into now. This is the mastery hidden in the simple practice. This is the secret the universe responds to unfailingly. Not force, not struggle, not frantic effort, just coherence, resonance, alignment. And when you reach this point, you realize something astonishing. You were never waiting for the universe at all. The universe was always waiting for you. There is a hidden threshold in this practice, a moment where something irreversible shifts. At first, you feel as though you are sending signals outward, broadcasting, affirming, aligning, waiting for the universe to notice. But eventually, a profound realization dawns. You are not waiting for the universe at all. You are the universe, awakening to its own echo. This shift is subtle, yet seismic. You no longer practice just to make something happen. You practice because you have become the reality you once sought. The universe is not being forced to respond to you. It is expressing itself through you. And in this merging, a new kind of life begins. Most people believe life operates on a linear path. Thought, action, result. But in deeper truth, life is not linear, it is holographic. Your inner state is not just the cause of future events, it is the event itself, reflected across layers of reality. This is why the practice works so powerfully. When you embody gratitude, love, or abundance now, you are not just setting up a future condition, you are stepping into the vibration of that reality immediately. The so-called future has no choice but to reflect it. Cause and effect merge into simultaneity. You become both the cause and the effect at once. And in this simultaneity, waiting dissolves. There is nothing to chase because the frequency of what you desire already exists in you. The universe simply amplifies what is already true. Here is where the practice deepens. You begin to realize that what you once hoped life would deliver, you are already carrying. You no longer say, "I want peace." Instead, you embody peace so fully that wherever you walk, others feel calmer without knowing why. You no longer say, "I want love." Instead, love radiates from you like sunlight, and people instinctively lean into it. You no longer say, "I want abundance." Instead, you walk with the energy of someone who already belongs to abundance, and opportunities magnetize to you without effort. This is mastery, not chasing the answer, but becoming the answer. Once you cross this threshold, something else begins to happen. The signs, synchronicities, and alignments that once felt like messages from the universe become expressions through you. You realize that the same intelligence that orchestrates your external world is orchestrating your inner insights, your intuitive nudges, your quiet knowings. The whisper of intuition you feel is not separate from the response of the universe. It is the same communication, flowing through two directions at once. The universe answers not just in external events, but in the clarity that rises within you. This is why the simple practice of alignment is so powerful. It tunes you to that inner station so clearly that what once felt like confusion now feels like guidance. Let us speak plainly. The world will begin to rearrange itself when you hold your broadcast consistently. Circumstances shift. People exit or enter. Doors that seemed welded shut swing open as though they were waiting for you all along. But here is the deeper secret. These rearrangements are not separate from you. They are the visible echo of your invisible alignment. The reason the world changes is because your broadcast no longer matches the old pattern. Think of it like moving houses. If you change your address, the mail no longer arrives at the old location. In the same way, when you shift your broadcast, life no longer delivers the same experiences it once did. A different reality begins showing up because you are living at a different vibrational address. Once you embody this understanding, randomness dies. Life stops being a series of accidents and becomes a symphony. Even challenges reveal themselves as responses, guiding you to refine your signal further. Even delays, which once felt like cosmic indifference, reveal themselves as invitations to deepen alignment. What you once called coincidence becomes evidence. What you once called luck becomes resonance. You realize there is no external authority deciding whether you are worthy. There is only resonance. There is only reflection. There is only the dance between your inner state and the outer mirror. Do not mistake mastery for perfection. Even those who live this truth most deeply are sometimes pulled by old frequencies: doubt, fear, impatience. But the difference is this: they know how to return. The practice is not about never falling out of alignment. The practice is about gently, consistently returning when you do. Like breathing, alignment is a cycle of exhale and inhale. The question is not whether you falter. The question is whether you return. And with each return, the signal strengthens. The wobble decreases. The frequency stabilizes. Until, eventually, alignment becomes your natural resting state. Imagine waking each day not to chase, but to embody. Not to beg, but to radiate. Not to wait, but to recognize. This is the life of someone who has mastered the simple practice. Their existence itself is the response. Everywhere they go, they carry a field that bends reality into coherence. They are not special in the sense of chosen. They are simply consistent in their broadcast. And so the universe cannot help but respond. Because that is its law. What may surprise you is that your alignment does not only change your own life. It ripples outward into others. When you carry peace, others near you unconsciously entrain to it. When you carry abundance, you awaken the same frequency in those around you. When you carry joy, the room itself seems lighter. This is not metaphor, it is resonance. Just as one tuning fork activates another, your field activates the fields of others. In this way, your simple practice becomes service. By embodying alignment, you invite the world itself into alignment. This is how the unseen ripple of one person's coherence can alter an entire environment. This is why history remembers those who carried powerful frequencies, not because they had power over others, but because they awakened resonance within others. Once you live in this way, the old game of struggle, competition, and proving yourself becomes irrelevant. You no longer measure success by comparison. You no longer waste energy chasing validation. Instead, your life becomes an unfolding of resonance. Each moment carries its own fullness because you are not waiting for someday to grant you permission to feel whole. You are whole now. And ironically, from this state, The very things people chase, wealth, recognition, love, often arrive with ease. Not because you needed them to complete you, but because they are natural byproducts of the frequency you embody. Here is the final realization. The practice you thought would force the universe to respond was never about force. It was about remembrance. You are not a beggar at the gates of reality. You are reality itself, disguised as a human being. The practice does not make the universe listen to you. It makes you listen to yourself. It clears the static, refines the signal, and allows the truth of who you already are to broadcast without interference. When you see this, life changes forever. Because you stop searching for the key and realize you were the key all along. To integrate this, try a simple experiment. For the next 7 days, choose one frequency: gratitude, love, peace, abundance, joy, and dwell in it as though it were already the reality of your life. Do not try to make anything happen. Do not measure whether results are appearing fast enough. Simply walk as the broadcast. Pay attention to how people respond to you, how opportunities shift, how synchronicities multiply. These are not accidents. They are reflections of your broadcast. The experiment will reveal what words cannot. It will show you that the universe has been waiting for your signal, ready to respond the moment you send it with clarity. So the practice is simple, yet infinite in depth. Align your inner state with your chosen reality, and life cannot help but mirror it. This is not theory. This is law. This is not wishful thinking. This is resonance. The universe is not ignoring you. It is not delaying you. It is not testing you. It is waiting for you to send a clear signal. And when you do, it responds, not slowly, not reluctantly, but instantly, with the precision of a mirror. And so the question is no longer, will the universe answer me? The question is, will I broadcast coherently enough to hear the answer? Because once you do, once you embody the reality you choose, once you walk as the signal itself, then the practice is no longer a practice. It is your life. And your life becomes the living proof that the universe always responds to coherence always.